How's it going? Welcome to a brand new episode of Billboard Live. I'm Kevan Kenney, and I have some friends with me today. Everclear is here. What's going on, guys? Back in 1997, these guys put out a record called So Much for the Afterglow, and over 2 million people went to the store and picked the thing up, turning it into a multi-platinum classic to this day. 20 years later, the boys are back in town playing Irving Plaza as part of the 20th anniversary tour, and they're being very nice and cordial and coming by here, Billboard Live, playing us some music, and going to hang out for a chat afterwards.
Absolutely.
So I'll get the hell out of the way. Everclear, take it away. One more time for Everclear, everybody. I'm going to try to sneak around you guys. Not too shabby. That was awesome. And I'm happy you played that because I want to take a trip down memory lane. We're going to talk tour really quick, but I want to go back to 1997. And probably, a question you're getting a lot on this run is the mindset and the memories of that time. Because for those that are fans of Everclear, they know. But if you don't know, Sparkle and Fade has been out now for about 2 years at the time. Santa Monica, that song we just heard here on Billboard Live, is all over the radio. Was there pressure? You're going into this, I know it's your third record, but your second, your sophomore major label. Was there any fear of a slump? Where was your mind at?
Well, that's what everyone was saying. They were saying it's going to be a slump and this and that. And I got to tell you, I had such an attitude and so much just plain out arrogance at the time that I was just like, I was trying to irritate people. It was like, oh, really? We're going to be a one-hit wonder? Guess what? I'll write a song called One Hit Wonder and put it on the record. And so I was kind of just spitting in the face of adversity a little bit, and diversity, really. But I just kind of put the blinders on. And we started the record, and we recorded it and mixed it, and it wasn't right. And it kind of kicked my butt a little bit, and I went back and went over it, wrote some new songs, took some songs out, and then made the record the way it should have been.
Right on. I'm happy you brought up One Hit Wonder because there's a line on that song that I'd love to quote right now, and it says, he says he wants to live the kind of life that will make the folks back home all bitch and whine. He knows if he ever even gets the chance, he'd sell his soul to make the monster dance. I love that line. How close was that to the mindset that you're kind of speaking to right there?
It was pretty close. I was kind of saying F you to a lot of people back in Portland.
Right.
Not a lot of people, very few people, but the people like the Hippo Saw there were constantly saying that, we weren't part of the scene and this and that and this, and we totally came up through the scene. We just weren't, we weren't all buddy-buddy with people because I had a kid at home. I couldn't go hang out and party with people. Right. So there was kind of this aggression, and after they said we wouldn't have success. Then we had success. Then they said we were going to fail. Right. And I just love it when people, define you and what's going to happen to you. Right. It's like, really? Okay, come on. I'll show you.
Great bodies of work come out of that,
Well,
proving somebody wrong.
It was grist for the mill, for sure. Yeah. Very much so.
I used to work at a rock radio station out in Jersey, and you came through a number of years ago during during the Summerland leg, and you told this great story about how you actually wrote Santa Monica after you guys were signed, which was kind of a little unorthodox back in the 90s. You'd have a big hit and then get signed. You wrote yours after being signed. I was curious if you have any memories or specific memories of the writing process of this record that you're celebrating the 20 years on, So Much After the Afterglow.
I was just still writing like I was writing before. I mean, you got to remember, Sparkle and Fade wasn't our first record.
Right.
And it wasn't the first whole record. It was the third record I made. Written my first record. You know how they say you spend 20 years, or 10 years writing your first record, 10 months writing your second one. Yeah. This was technically going to be my fourth record that I'd written all the songs for, because I written for this band Colorfinger, which was my stupid name. Good band, stupid name. Before Everclear. So I wrote, I just write when I need to write. It's not like I sit down in a room. I've always thought that a little bit pretentious, and it's just like when two people okay, let's write a song in B. I can't do that. That's not me. When I feel something I got to say, or I hear something in my head, then I write.
Right.
Yeah, so.
This is such a deep record. I'm sure if we've got a bunch of people in the room you can't see on Billboard Live now, but there's a bunch of people here, and I'm sure if we went around the room, everybody could have a different favorite song off of So Much for the Afterglow. I'm curious, what is your personal favorite song, and why?
It's funny. Right now, my personal favorite, it kind of changes, but I'd say the song Sunflowers, which is on side 2.
You're good at segues. I got a Sunflowers question coming
Oh,
up.
really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I knew that. Yeah, just because, it's like some of my songs are autobiographical, and very few of them, like 3 on this album are.
Right.
But there's some songs where I take things from my life and different experiences and make characters out of them and experiences and add a little artistic license. And that's one of those songs, but it's very personal though, because it's like my mom had to watch me go through drug rehab and just falling down and making mistakes. And it's got to be a miserable thing as a parent. And that was a fear I had, watching my children follow me down that path. And plus my mom had to bury my older brother from drug overdose. So, I was just, so there was a lot of different people. And I had a friend who lost his little brother to the same thing. So there was a lot of that going into that. And so that song, even though it isn't 100% autobiographical,
Whatever that word is.
Whatever that word is. It's not 100% from real life. It's very personal for me.
Right on.
Yeah.
I think you may have been peeking at my cards, because that was a song that has always struck me. As I know you've said in past interviews, it's not autobiographical.
You have a problem with
I
it.
can't say it either.
That screwed you up.
But no, I mean, but it's always just struck me as such a personal song. So it's cool to hear that story here on Billboard Live. Speaking of Sunflowers, that's a song that really you guys have seldom performed live throughout the years. I was wondering if there's any other songs, and feel free to chime in too, is that you're playing out on the road as part of this tour. That you haven't played in like forever.
Why Don't Believe in God.
California King.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Why Don't Believe, but California King we used to play years ago, but Why Don't Believe in God, before this tour, we never played.
Never?
Ever.
Wow.
Ever. It's about my mom.
Do you get to know a song in a totally new way when you've never?
Yeah, it's cool. It's like we're playing new songs that are very comfortable, especially for me. I mean,
Yeah.
It's fun. This tour's been really fun. Plus, Davey gets to play banjo on Why I Don't Believe in God.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Busting out the banjo.
Yeah.
Speaking of the songs that you guys are playing on tour, something that I think is really cool is that while you are playing the full record so much for the Afterglow, you're doing side A, from what I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, and then you're actually taking a break before side B, and you're going to play some other hits in between. So you're going to get, no matter what record of Everclear that you're a fan of, you're going to leave the show a happy camper.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's cool.
We play it from pretty much all the records, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And you're also doing something really cool with the tickets on this tour. I don't know if you've partnered, but you're donating to Sweet Relief. Could you kind of talk about that cause?
Yeah, well, without going into it too much, multiple sclerosis is something that's very close to my family. And I don't know if you know the history of Sweet Relief, but they started as an organization to raise money for Victoria Williams, a singer-songwriter who was diagnosed with MS back in, I believe, the 80s. And they are just one of those organizations that when they raise money, every dime of it goes to paying somebody's bills or taking care of somebody, paying for a treatment or whatever. Yeah. And so I wanted to be in partnership with them. So we're giving $1 from every ticket sold.
That's awesome.
To them, yeah.
That's awesome. We can't talk about tour without talking about your buddies. Vertical Rise is joining you. Fastball is joining you. Is this the first time that you guys have crossed paths with those bands, or do you have any memories from back in the day?
Well, Fastball, we took on tour, and look, I'm acting like a singer. You've got it. This guy's done this before. We took Fastball back on tour back in '98. Okay. On the first real big tour for Afterglow. We took them in Marcy Playground, and I tried to get Marcy Playground as well, but they were already booked.
They've been on Summerlands in the past, right?
They've been on one.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. They're great guys. They would have loved it on this tour, but they were already committed. So we've crossed paths with Vertical Horizon many times. We know Matt and the guys, and asked them to come on the tour, and it's been great.
That's awesome.
It's a great tour.
Yeah, I'm hoping, it's funny, it's like there's a little bit of like a fastball renaissance now. Camila Cabello and Machine Gun Kelly, they sampled the fastball song for Bad Things. So I'm waiting for a pop star in 2017 to sample an Everclear song. I think that'd be pretty rad.
That would be awesome. Especially if it's a song I still got publishing on.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I thought it'd be kind of fun. This is probably something that nobody under the age of 25 knows what these are. These used to come in CDs.
Yeah, right.
But you used to be able
How
to buy.
do you know what they are?
This is mine. I got the So Much for the Afterglow on CD from back in the day. I just
really?
had to, whip out for this interview. But essentially, for those that don't know, you used to be able to. This is the inside of a CD, and there's thank yous that bands would put on for thanking people who went to the record. And this just cracked me up that you guys were. You thank a lot of people, but this little passage here. Special thanks to all the people who have written us, emailed us, stood in line in the freezing cold, called in sick for work, and gotten into fights at school over us. Thanks for making all the weirdness bearable and fun.
Yeah.
So that's who you were grateful for and who you were thanking in 1997. Who do you want to thank now, 20 years looking back?
I want to thank those same people. I want to thank our families for putting up with that. I mean, we're middle-aged men mostly, not him, but we're I say that resentfully. We're middle-aged men still touring and playing music and still doing our dream. And our families have been very, very patient with us. Well, I mean, we make a decent living, so it helps.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's hard not having your family with you.
Oh, absolutely.
My family just flew in yesterday, so.
Oh, awesome. So they're here they can catch a show tonight at Derby?
Yeah, and they're going to be with me for about a week.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's going to be fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I speak for myself and all Everclear fans the world over that we're very grateful that you are still doing this out on the road, guys, and you too as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. This was awesome, and this has been an episode of Billboard Live, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.